Who are the most owned event 5-star characters in Genshin Impact? The characters in this list might surprise you. These are the top 10 most owned event 5-star characters in Genshin. We won't be including Traveler in this list because of course everyone has him, and we won't be mentioning any of the standard 5-star characters either. But if you are interested in seeing where the standard characters fall on this list, I'll have a video linked at the end with a list including them. Let's get started. In 10th place is Kokomi with a 49.2% ownership rate. She's a really good hydro healer from Inazuma and is super helpful once you build her. She can quickly heal your team when you're low on health and is great for hydro application, so she works really well with other elements too. Next, in 9th place is Arlecchino with a 50.5% ownership rate. She's the newest character on this list, and honestly I'm not surprised that she's this popular already. She is such a powerful pyro character to have in your team and can fully sustain herself since she's able to heal herself with her Bond of Life elemental skill. She's definitely been one of my favorite characters to use lately. In 8th place is Ayaka with a 55.1% ownership rate. I'm glad to see a cryo character on this list. She's a super fun and powerful character to use, plus she's one of very few characters with her own special running animation and outfit. It's nice to see that over half of Genshin Impact players own her, but this next percentage is a big jump from 55. For 7th place we have Neuvillette with a 70.7% ownership rate, and when you look at how powerful his burst is, you can kind of see why. He can pretty much just delete everything in front of him, and it lasts so long too. And since he's hydro, he works super well with lots of other characters and elements, and is really good when paired with Dendro. He's an amazing character overall. Next up in 6th place is Yelan with a 77.2% ownership rate, and it's great to see a bow character on this list. She is yet another extremely powerful hydro character. I've seen people able to do so much damage with her. You can pretty much one-shot a lot of enemies with her charged attack once she's leveled. She's a really fun character to play too. It's crazy that over 3/4 of Genshin players have her. Now for the top 5, but before we get there, if you're enjoying learning more about your favorite Genshin characters, make sure to hit the subscribe button. It's 100% free to click. In 5th place is Raiden with a 79.5% ownership rate. It's crazy that so many Genshin players own her. It is understandable how popular she is, being both an Archon and a very powerful Electro support who can add a ton of extra damage to your team. She's an amazing Electro character to have, and I've seen her on reruns pretty frequently, which is most likely how so many people have her. When she's built well, she is so powerful. 4th is Zhongli with an 81.5% ownership rate. I'm not too surprised by this because he's yet another Archon and debatably the best support character in the game because of his shield. His shield can block literally everything and makes boss fights much easier because you literally just can't die. Having him on your team makes playing Genshin so easy. If you keep dying over and over, just grab Zhongli, grab a healer, and you're good. You'll probably never die again. And also his burst can do so much damage once you level it. Now for the top 3, and this is where things get super interesting. In 3rd place is Furina with an 82.4% ownership rate. Her being this high up on the list is crazy because she's a fairly new character, but makes sense because she is an all-around amazing support character. Plus, you can choose what she does with her elemental skill, switching between Numa and Wisa. She can boost your other character's damage, heal your team, and can do a lot of damage herself if you use her E-skill in attack mode. And on top of that, she's hydro, and we've had so many hydro characters on this list. Overall, she's a great character. In 2nd place is the Dendro Archon Nahida with a 93.1% ownership rate. At first I didn't realize how popular of a character she was, but it makes sense because of how useful of a support character she is. Plus she's Dendro. She was one of the very first Dendro characters added to the game, which is most likely part of the reason why she's this popular. She was a great way to get your hands on new elemental reactions since Dendro was added later, and she still holds up today. And now for our number 1 spot. You might think it's the only Archon that hasn't been mentioned on this list yet, which is Venti, but it's not. Instead, in our number 1 spot is Kazuha with a massive 93.3% ownership rate. It's crazy that the majority of Genshin players own him, and that's probably because of how useful his animal abilities are and how well he works with other characters. He has amazing crowd control and can kind of just suck up all the enemies into one spot, which makes fighting them and taking them all down much easier. He also works really well with other elements and reactions since he's Animo. Overall, he's an amazing character to have, which is why he's number 1 on the list. So that wraps up our list of the top 10 most owned limited 5-star event characters in Genshin. There were so many hydro characters on this list, which was pretty surprising for me. Same with Fontaine characters. Let me know which ones you have down below.